You're saying in the first sentence, the police issue far more parking citations during the school year than when the students are out of town. Then they draw a conclusion about students. So first off, I see this as being kind of a correlation causation flaw. Maybe the students aren't necessarily the ones causing the parking citations to be, causing there to be more citations issued. Secondly, they're assuming that the students are the ones who are receiving the citations, implying they're the ones who are violating the parking rules. Maybe the students clog up the streets, and then the townspeople are the ones who commit parking violations. And then maybe as far as the police issuing citations, that may not be due to the students in particular. That could be due to some other factor altogether. So I think there's a mix of things. If I had to focus on one, I'd say correlation causation combined with where most of something is ending up. So we talked about earlier parallel questions matching the flaw as well as matching the degree of certainty or a particular qualifier. I think all of those come into play here. Since the conclusion is about where most citations are going, for the choices, you also want to look at where most of something is going. And just using that alone, I think you can eliminate quite a bit here. A says most in the conclusion there, so I would keep it. B says nothing about most. C does say most. D says more fruit, an increase, not a majority, so that's out. Then E does say most once again. Then I want to get more specific on the correlation causation aspect here as well. A is concluding most snacks when the evidence was about popcorn sales in particular. So that's an unreasonable broadening. Yeah, Brendan?
Also on that one, the proportion is not necessarily more.
Yeah, you're right. That's not an absolute increase necessarily. That's a good point. So looking at that part of it, proportion of child moviegoers to adult moviegoers increases. That doesn't mean the absolute number of children is increasing overall.
I think with A too, it's just like as popcorn sales increase as proportion of movie child goes, I can imagine like a scale going up. Whereas in the answer has two concrete time periods. Like one is students are there, the other is students are not there. Versus not like, it could have been, as more students are in town, parking tickets go up, but it's not that.
Right, so like before, after versus gradual.
Right.
Yeah. I'd continue looking for the correlation causation thing with C, D, and E remaining.
C has two most statements.
Yeah, it does. You're right, and the stimulus does not. It just said far more. Yeah, good. D says more, but there's no most. So then we're left with E.
If you rephrase E, it's identical.
Yeah, the only thing, of course, they like to do is they switch around the order of the evidence and conclusion to make it harder to spot. They do that for all the choices, I think, here. And so you do have to rearrange it for yourself. It's assuming from an increase that it's going to a particular place. Other thoughts or questions on this one?
The question is actually it's not really related to this one, but so right, there's also like parallel reasoning. There's like parallel reasoning, parallel flaw. And in parallel flaw, you're like matching the flaw exactly and not necessarily the exact like structure of how things are laid out, like conclusion first or premises first, whatever it is. But for parallel method, if like the stimulus has A then B, A therefore B, does the answer have to have the same A then B? A implies B, A then B, or could the answer have like, we know that when we have A, we have B because A then B? Or does it have to like match the exact structure? Okay.
They could have extra filler in one of the two. So either the stimulus for parallel method, which is like regular parallel questions, you could have a case where the logic is the same, but the structure is not identical, meaning that things can always be out of order. And there can also be filler as well. And that could just be filler words that don't really have any logical impact. Like if they said, we know that changes nothing. We know that is still a given, whatever follows immediately after that.
Do you see a lot of contrapositives though as an answer? When like a parallel? I haven't seen a lot of that.
No, that wouldn't be that common. I have seen extra parts though. Extra parts that were totally irrelevant. And I think we'll be doing some more of these, if not today, then tomorrow.